Okay, so for topic 6, we're going to look into registration and also login later after topic 6. So for registration, for MyNelayan app registration page, uh, even though the application, okay, when I talk about community-based application, because this is a community-based application. So in community-based application, usually we avoid user from log in first or force them to log in through login wall. Means that we want them to access or use the application, but then when they find out that the application is beneficial to them, then we can ask them to register if they want to use certain feature. Okay, so that's basically the idea now for this application. However, because we wanted for the application to have what we call as data, okay, so we need to create a login page and also registration page so that when user register, they can add data. Okay, they can add data to the application. So for now, since we don't have any method, we don't have yet anything to the in the database, user. So we need to create that, or we need to have a registration form. So usually when we have or when we develop a registration form, like for now, for this application, so we consider that this is basically we try to avoid the login wall. Okay, so which means that when the application first start with the splash screen, user will automatically go to this buyer screen. Okay, which allow them to see all the items inside this screen. They can browse, they can look around, they can search. But if they want to implement or they want to use more features, they want to buy or they want to interact with the application a bit more, they will have to register. All right, so we don't have that yet. We're going to implement that later. To be able to access to the page, so we can use profile. Okay, so this profile here, so I'm going to create just a simple button inside here just to access to the registration and login. All right, so for that, we're going to access to the profile tab. So here in the profile tab, we don't have much. We can just create a simple two buttons, one for login, one for registration. So just for temporary access to the login and registration screen. So I'm going to use column here and then implement children. And here we can just use elevated button, or you can also use material button for now. Okay, so for material button, what material button they didn't have child, they have the child, right? They have child text. So this one for login. Okay, so on we just want to navigate, so no need to create complex. Okay, so we want to navigate, so we have one button, so we need another button for registration. So this one for registration. Right, so you have login and registration. So method button, they don't have much. It's elevated button also. Let's use elevated button. Okay, so login and registration. So for login and the registration, we we need to implement registration first, because login without registration, definitely you cannot log in. So we need registration. So for registration, here, what you have here, this is basically just a simple profile page, but I'm not going to do this just yet. I'm not going to do the interface for this profile page just yet. that even though I can just copy paste from here, but I just want to be able to access to registration or login page for now. Okay, but later definitely we're going to implement this profile page. But for now, leave it as it is, and we're going to move to the registration page. Okay, which basically here. So this is the registration page. So for registration page, we want for our user to register with our application, register their account with our application, which in this case, we need to determine what type of data that, or what type of profile, user profile data we want. Okay, so this is for the My Passport application. But for MyNelayan application, you might need to think differently in terms of the data that we requested for user. So for example, for the My Passport here, I requested the application basically request for email, name, and password. Okay, just a very simple registration data, which only consists of a few. All right. But you need to understand one thing. When we talk about this application, like for email, sometimes most people or some people that they don't use email much. Okay, they don't have email, or maybe they're not familiar with email, and you need to understand the persona of your user. Okay, so for example, MyNelayan user basically comes from B40 or from the lower tier of the people. So you need to understand first, okay, or you need to get information first. Which data that basically you will require from them. The easiest is the phone number. Okay, you can request for phone number, maybe their name. Sometimes you can elevate password through auto-generated password, or you can use OTP, one-time password sent through SMS. Okay, but you have to bear in mind if you want to use phone OTP as an SMS through SMS, it can be a little bit difficult in terms of costing. OTP through SMS require SMS gateway, and you can get SMS gateway, but you need to pay for the fee, okay, to be able to send your OTP through SMS. The easiest way of this implementation of a one-time password is through email. But then again, you have to understand that also if the persona of your user, they there are not many of them have their own email. Okay, that can be a little bit different, difficult. Okay, so but that should comes from your from the UI UX team. They are basically the one who will decide which basically data that we require for user to log in. And always keep in mind that we need as little as possible data. We don't want to request so many data from your user. Try to make their registration as painless as possible. And even you can use like Google, or you can use the single sign-on. You can implement the zero authentication. So there are so many other methods available that you can consider by user registration. But for this application, I'm going to keep things simple for now. Simple, which I assume, because I don't want to implement SMS notification, okay, which will require some requires SMS gateway to be able to work with. So I'm going to stay with email, request for name, and also maybe phone number also. 3 data requested from them. But for password, natively or traditionally, we use password. But bear in mind, password, people don't like to use password, don't like to remember password. So you might want to implement remember me methods for your user to be able to store their password and forget about their password. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of things that you need to consider in registration and also login. Okay, but for this application, I'm going to use a very traditional method of login. So the user interface here, I use stack, and then this is a simple form here, inputs. All right, but yeah, this one, as you can see here, I stack upper half and lower half. Okay, this is the upper half of the picture at the bottom here, lower half, and then with the form for registration. But I'm going to go for just a simple registration form. So for that, I'm going to create. Okay, so now you can see that there are quite a number of screens already, and even you can further segregate your screen design to a more complex structure. Okay, but here I'm going to put it here. So for screen, I'm going to define for registration is registration. Sorry, registration screen dot. All right, so this is the class file that will handle registration. So this is a stateful class. You can just straight use stateful and type in registration screen, and then import the required material here. And this one is a scaffold because it basically we should bring up a new layout, not inside this main screen, but outside. Okay, so create a scaffold here, and then a standard app bar. Um, App bar, actually, you can just use the other one, that much easier. Snippet. So here you can use tags of title, sorry, title, and constant tags, um, registration. Okay, so user registration, and then set the body bar, and then body to center for now. Okay, so this is registration, and then we're going to call from this button here and that button from profile tab, and we can just use main screen, sorry, splash screen, navigator, and then just take this code here. Okay, so this button, when we press, we want to go from the registration, not to the main screen, but to the registration screen. Okay, you want to go from here to here, but not push replacement, just push. Okay, so we want to press this button and go to the registration. As you can see here, press this registration. Now you can see user registration page. You can go back, registration. This is registration screen. So for registration screen, I'm going to implement a simple layout first. I'm not going to go crazy with the user interface. So we're going to have our registration form, and then we're going to work with that. All right. So now to make things easier, let me close all and just open registration screen. And here we're going to work with our registration. And usually for registration screen, you can just implement single child scroll view as the body. Should be okay, because we're going to end up with a number of inputs from user. So might as well, we can just straight away use a single child scroll view straight from there. All right, choose child, and then we can just use column, and then children. All right, so we're going to build our interface inside here. So the first section, maybe you want to put like an image for user registration. So you can just create a container inside here, and then that container basically will contain the image, right? container. Let me just set the head, and then just set the head like 200, and set the color. Just an empty things first for now. Colors dot, let's say blue. All right. So that's basically the first part, reserved for image or whatever uh, widget that I want to put it here. At the bottom here, we're going to put our registration form. So for the registration form, I'm going to put it into the second container here. But there's a widget called form widget. There's a form widget. There you go. There's a form widget there. Okay, you can use form widget. And this is basically there's the advantages of using form widget. I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so about form widget here. So I'm going to create a container for this, and child for this is a form widget. Right, so you can see there's a form widget there. So it will require just another column, and then set into children. And here we can start putting our text field. Okay, so here you can see there's a form widget there. Put it into children, and then form into column, and then we can start to populate our form. But yeah, but here I forgot to add, because here container, the child here is not form. So instead of form, let me just undo this a little bit for now. So instead of form, let me start with a column first. All right, so inside column, so that I can have title for the form. So let's say registration form, just to indicate that this, and then form, child, and then again another column down there. So this is a constant, and then column inside is children, and then this is the item that we're going to use. So let me just save on this. So you can see there's a registration form. Yeah, you can change the title later on, but this is just to show things first. Okay, so text field. For text form, there's a special text field for form they call text form field. Okay, so this is basically the same with text field, except that you can have validation, you can have icon, and also a focus assist parameter to the form to the field. Okay, so we're going to use, instead of a text field, we can use text form field. This is what we call a text form field there. So as an item element to the form, so I'm going to add text form field. So we're going to request a number of items, that 2, 3, 4. So let's start with that. Okay, so you can see there, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 text form field. So let me just try this one for email, phone, name, and also password. There are 2 password down there. So we're going to need 2 items there. All right. So now you can see we have this. And there are other parameters that you can pass into. For example, the decoration. So if you want to have decoration, so you can implement decoration through the input decoration. Here, let me just try to adjust the size or the padding of this container first. So you can see now container, we can just use container margin. Try with margin. Margin always start with H and set. Try with all. Let's say start with 16 pixel all. So that's for margin. Okay, you can see there's a margin there, 16 pixel margin for this font. So if you want to put if you want to put card for this form, okay, you can just always, let me just, this column, wrap with a widget, card widget. Let me just see that. So card widget is on the inside. Just put the card widget on the outside. Widget with card. Okay, you can see the widget there. There's a card there. So if you want to make it a little bit visible, you can just put elevation, 8 pixel elevation, so that you can see a little bit of that card. So at the bottom, you have elevated button. So this one, text register for a button, and on press, maybe you can get on register dialog. Okay, so they're just a method names. Okay, save that, and then you can see the register there. And then this is basically the basic form that I've just created for registration. And you can start making it look better. Let's say like the one that I use here, through decoration. Let me take decoration for now. Focus border, input border, border side. Let me take that. Sure. Put it inside and let's see how it looks like. Okay, so this one for name. Okay, you can see that name. And the second one for phone. Okay, so icon here, maybe we change to phone. Okay, you can see there, it's changes. Change to a little bit different UI. And the third one for name, phone, and the third one is maybe email. Okay, so this is email. Okay, you can see comes with an icon there. The icon basically part of an input decoration icon, so you have that. And then down here for password. Okay, so we can put icon lock. Okay, and then the last one here. So the same, this one, and the password. Okay, so this is lock. All right, so that's basically just a very basic, very basic form, registration form. All right, so next what do we need is controller. Okay, so there are controller here, and then we just put all the controller there. So this is a name, email, and then we need one more, which is a phone number. So we can just add phone number, right? So name, email, phone, password 1, and password 2. Okay, there are 5 items or 5 elements that we want to retrieve from our form here. And then next, definitely we need to assign with controller for each. Okay, so the first one is name, so we just assign the name. And then definitely now you can see, sorry, not that one. What is it? Controller, should be controller. All right, so second one for email. So email controller, the third one for this one for email, this one for phone. Is it phone or password? Sorry. This one email. This is email. This is phone. You are missing here. Okay. Controller. this one for email. Oh, sorry, this one for phone. Okay, and this one for not phone, but this one for password. The first password, and the second one, the second password. Okay, so we have all the data already. And we're going to retrieve all the data when user press this register button through here. Okay, we have all the controller, and should we can just use the data and then pass the data through the server. And definitely you can use the other parameter here, like for example, if you want to change the text keyboard type. This is keyboard type, so you can use keyboard type, like for example, for name, keyboard type should be text. For phone, keyboard type should be number, should be phone. For the email, keyboard type should be email. For password, we can allow for all text, but we need to implement because for now you can see the password. So you can implement the where is password here? Email form password is the forgot about obscure text. Okay, you need to turn on this obscure text. Okay, so turn on the obscure text so that so your password now no longer visible. Okay, become obscure. Call it obscure text. Okay, so cannot see the password, can see the password, so that it is much more protected in terms of data privacy. But you can enable that by using you can turn on the visibility password here. Press the button here, and then should be able to see the password and whatever that you enter into this form. But that's basically implemented through. I think I talked about that here. The icon lock. This one icon lock. Focus. I think ID are there. Obscure. Where is it? Yeah, this one. No, this one for checkbox. Sorry. For the side, where is it? For password, I think it's an icon lock, icon I. Forgot about the I, where I put it. But that for later. Okay, but that for later because I just want to implement a very simple, implementation. But here I do have agree with terms. I do have agree with terms, which is basically this checkbox here, agree with terms. And that's basically allow for user to check first, are you sure you want to register this account? Read the terms and agreements and whatnot. So you can just implement that through like for the application, basically implemented through a role. And then I put it inside here. I put it inside this row. Okay, so we can add the one I added here. The size box here with already registered. No, that was for the bottom part. Okay, so here what I have is a checkbox. It is a checkbox there. Okay, one checkbox. Sorry, it's supposed to be checkbox. This one is checkbox. I'm going to take this up until here. Put the checkbox inside. And the is check, I need to define the is check up. Is check bool is check equal false. It is just to define the checkbox. Okay, so that you can have that checkbox here. Okay, and then there's a I put in the, where is it? Checkbox. Where's my checkbox? Also, yeah, the terms here. This is gesture detector. So I'm using flexible and put it inside here. This checkbox right after checkbox. Okay, so this one basically just to agree with terms. And finally, if you want to have the button like to the right a little bit, here I use material button. Okay, I use material button and set the width for that particular button. So for it's better to use not flexible, because flexible, can I use flex here? Like 6. I need to implement everything as a flexible inside, because I need to push this aside. Okay, I need to push this register button at the end. Maybe I can put flexible outside. Okay, so remove this widget. So still the same, except for the button here. So the button here, I'm going to put it into flexible, expanded. You put it into expanded widget. Okay, expanded will take the rest. Maybe use a size box with set to, let's say, 16 pixel. It's just to get some spacing. There you go. Okay, so you have that. So that if you think it's too close, so we can use another size box before, right after this. Size box. Okay, set to like 16 pixel. Okay, this is a constant. Size box is a constant. Okay, 16, something like that. Okay, so you have your form data, name, phone, email, password, agree with terms, and then press the register button. So that's basically a simple implementation of a form. Up here, whatever that you want to use, image, let's say like this one, there's a splash image. So splash image, maybe I'm going to look into, let's say, registration image. Okay, so maybe something like this one. Okay, again, the method that I use here is not recommended, but I just want to quickly use, or maybe this one. Copy image and put it into image folder. Save image as, this is JPEG. Register. Right, so this is register. So this is JPEG image. So if you want to use that, I'm going to put it into the blue part here. So instead of container, the child for this container is image.asset, and then here we can just use assets slash images slash register.jpg. Save. Okay, so you have that. There's a small padding there. The size is also, maybe we can just use image asset and then fit box fit set to cover. Yeah. So the blue color here, we can just remove them. Okay, so rather simple page. a very typical registration form, definitely you can just go crazy with the design. But here, a very typical design and allow for us to demonstrate how registration works. So now we get the value from form. Through the books, through my books here, I implemented what we call as a, hold on, validation. Okay, so you can see there's a validation for, because if you use text form field, you have what we call as a validator. So let me just take this validator just to implement or to show you how the validation implemented here. Okay, so let's start with the first. The first is text, the text form field for name. So we want user to enter their names, so we can implement validator. So let's say like the name length should be more than at least 5 character. Okay, that's it. Okay, should be more than 5 character. So that's the first validator for email. But phone validator will require phone number. So the same, you can just implement validator for phone. Means that the tag should be more than phone number is, you can just look into the phone number 019470249 So 10 characters. So maybe you can just put like at least 10 character for phone number. Okay, so you want landline. Okay, so must be phone must be longer than, let's say, longer or equal than 10. Okay, so whatever validation that you want to implement here. For email, there's a validator for email. Okay, special validator for email. So this one, this is a special validator for email to check if you got like a correct email address process. Okay, so it means that when you have this validator, an email will automatically detect that. For password, there's a validation for password. If you want to go crazy with password, there's a term called reject pattern. Okay, so this reject pattern, basically you can implement a not a simple validation, but a validation for password and the type of validation that you like to implement here. Okay, it's called a reject function. Okay, the reject function basically, if you want to implement such like advanced password management, make sure that password is much secure. So, but I'm not going to use this for now. So you can just take this and use the validation. But maybe I can just use a simple validation, because if you implement that later on, if you want to register many, you need to follow the password methods. Okay, now you can see there. For password, for example, password, I just want to use a simple, must be longer than at least ABC 123, okay, like less than 6. Okay, so for password validation, okay, length more must be longer than 5. Okay, the same with the second one, also the same. So password must be longer than 1. Password must be longer than 5. Okay, that's just that. A very simple one. Okay, so haven't yet worked into that validation yet. So you have your validation, everything, icon, or this one for validation for the password visible. I put it here so that you can get something like this. Um, for EULA, EULA stand for End User License Agreement. For this also later, I'm not going to go to this test yet, because we're going to need to click on this and then display the EULA, but EULA for later. Okay. So EULA agreement or whatnot, then you can just define EULA through dialog, and then you get your EULA here. But I'm going to talk about that later for EULA. For registration now. Okay, for registration, we're going to work with the data. We need to get the data first. We need to do some validation with the data. And then before we can do that, we need to define form key. Okay, we need to define form key. Okay. Something I forgot about the key. here. Okay, so before we can use validator, the form itself, the form widget itself required to be defined with a form key. All right, so the definition form key can be taken from here. So the form key we can define up here as the global value, which is form key here. And then the form itself, we can define with key. Okay, so you have your form key. So once you have your form key, then you can use the validator. Okay, you can see there, the form key current validate. Okay, so that's why you can see validation. So when we press this on dialog button, as long as this button within this form, so we can use the key. Okay, so if the form key current state validate, okay, maybe you can just print out invalid, just whatever, else print valid, just to show that. Okay, so I'm going to clear console. So let me just press register. Now you can see that it is invalid. And then you can see each of these input text form field here, it will state all the error. Name must be longer than 5, phone must be longer or equal than 5, enter valid email, enter password longer than 5, password longer than 5. So this is basically just validation. Okay, so validation. So if the form key current state validate is not true, it will print out invalid. So it means that we need to complete the validation first and then proceed with the validation. Okay, so in this case, if this is invalid, I'm going to straight away just return, quit the application, quit the method, and then not going to continue. But if it is valid, then we can continue this method. Okay, we can continue this method and get all the value. Okay, so since the form is now valid, now we can get all the value from our text controller. Okay, so to get all the value, so we have name, string name equal name controller dot text. Okay, so we get the first one. And then we have email. Okay, so we can have email editing controller dot text. That's the second one. String, third one is phone equal phone editing controller dot text, and then string, what else? Password, pass a equal pass editing controller dot text, the first password, and then string pass b equal pass editing to dot text. All right, so those are basically all the value that we want to use to get and pass to the server. So if you want to print out all the value, should be okay, like print name plus email plus phone plus pass A plus pass B. This one is email missing L. Okay, so just want to get the value to show that we have the value. It will print out into our debug console. So let me take name, Anis, phone number, okay, email, password, okay, and then register. Oops, sorry, goes to invalid. Oh yeah, this one, slumberger@gmail. Why is it valid for email? I'm missing something for email validation. Where's the email validation? Should contain at, should contain dot. This one at and slumberger@gmail.com. Enter valid email on now. Oh, this one should contain valid both. Is it for both? Yeah, purple. Sorry, this is missing that. So it means that I missed. I missed the other one. The other. Okay, so now you can see. Let me just clear this again. You can see there's all the data there. Name, email, phone, password, and password. Okay, we have the data already. So it should be no problem for us to use the data and pass to the database. Okay, so next one we have, and the other one here, I just used check. But I implemented toast, but maybe I can just use the other one here. The if statement here is to check for the just implement snack bar. We just go back GitHub, search for snack bar because I use snack bar. Snack bar is much easier to use. Snack bar through scaffold, and then just implement something goes wrong. Invalid input, or check your form, check your input. Okay, and the other one is check. Please agree with terms and condition, something like that. Okay, so this is basically just if I didn't press on this, the registration, it will show please agree with terms and condition. Okay, just that. Oh, I forgot to return. Okay, I just make sure that we quit. Okay, please agree with them or check your input. Okay, please. If you agree, should be okay. So I just trigger when is check is not checked. Okay, so now this is where we work with our back end. Okay, we want to send data to our back end. But here I built a dialog. Okay, so a dialog I show you want to register because whenever we want to perform what we call as a critical operation, CO, okay, critical operation to our database, we need to make sure that we ask user first. We don't want user to simply press the button and then if there's a mistake in the form, and then they cannot just redo that, or they cannot check that, or they cannot verify that. So we want to implement, are you sure you want to register? So this one basically just to do that. Okay, show dialog here. So I'm going to just quickly take that and then, okay, I'm going to quickly take that, put it here. Okay, but because the data is already here, but I'm going to take that for now. So what you have here is a show dialog method. Sorry, show dialog function. So this show dialog function is this: register new account. Are you sure? The dialog is too big. Okay, are you sure? Okay, just give them confirmation. Register new account. Are you sure? Okay, so because if they press no, means that they won't proceed and they're going to do something first. And they don't or mistakenly press the register button. Okay, register now. Are you sure? Yes, then continue. Okay, so if they press yes, means that they want to implement this method here. Okay, they want to implement this on press, register. So the on register dialog here is basically allow user to, are you sure you want to register? Basically just to fire up that, to check all the data, everything, and then fire up the registration method. So here we're going to create register user method. Okay, the final method here. So this is when we create the final method that actually do the registration. And definitely I'm going to move all this. Okay, I'm going to move all this into here, into this region, because this is the method that actually matter. This is the method that actually implement the registration. All right. Okay, so you have that. Are you sure you want to register? Then we're going to take all the data. So we have all the data here and pass to our backend service. So let's do that through HTTP library. Okay, so the HTTP library here implemented through HTTP. I think I haven't yet imported that through my PubSpec demo. Do I have HTTP here? No, not yet. Okay, I don't have yet HTTP here. So to import or to use the HTTP library, you can go to HTTP. Okay, I haven't yet import HTTP library. Right, definitely you need to install HTTP. So just give a command and then through the terminal, add the HTTP. Okay, so that you have your HTTP registered through your PubSpec. There's my HTTP there. Okay, so done with the HTTP, should be okay. And now we can use HTTP in our application. Okay, so now the registration here, this one I use I use a focus, but I'm not going to implement this just yet. Okay, so I'm going to use this HTTP block. Okay, so this is our HTTP block. So the HTTP block basically define. Okay, so we need to import. Okay, we need to import this one as HTTP. Okay, so for config also, actually I created a server a config file. But for now, we're not going to use that. We're going to create a direct link to the server directory. So let's say I'm going to use that for now. Okay, so this is where we're going to define our server directory. And down here, we're going to pass all the required data through the HTTP post body. Okay, this one is we need phone data. This is phone, and then password. You can have pass A, and then the second one is password B. This one also pass. Oh, but I forgot about the password. Okay, actually you can just implement or you can check password A and password B basically the same. So that basically can be implemented here also. Okay, because we also need to check if but for that we need to take the password. Okay, we need to check this password. Okay, we need to check the password if the password is okay. So if password A should equal password A is equal pass B. Okay, so if both password equals or not equal, we can use not equal. We can just show snack bar. Okay, so we can just say that password or check your password. Okay, and then we just return. Okay, so that's basically to take care of the password. Right, coming back here. So which means that we don't have to check, or we don't have to send both password. We just send one password only. So there's no need for us to send the second password. The first password sufficient enough for us to process the data. All right, so now we have our HTTP post sent to the our we don't have yet our backend service here. PHP service. And then the body of the data that we want to send to the server for the server to process. And then this is where we receive the response back once the process or the data has been successfully processed. Okay, so that's basically on the front end, the user interface part. We verify the data, get the data, pass the data to HTTP, post array. And definitely we need to use post array here because post array is much more secure compared to get array. Okay, so now we need to work with our back end. Okay, we need to work with our back end. So to work with our back end, so here we need to run our XAMPP service. Okay, so start here and start here. Make sure that both turn green. The first thing that you need to get here is you need to get your IP address. Okay, your local IP address. So in my case, my IP address for UM is this. Okay, here in UM, but you need to make sure that you are in the same network. Okay, so here this is the one that I can access. So to test that, put the IP address into your browser. You should be able to access this, your XAMPP service. Okay, your XAMPP dashboard. So it means that now your XAMPP dashboard is working. You can access this and then you can use this into your HTTP. So now the first part is HTTP. This is your server. And then you need to go to your XAMPP folder. And here, go to your htdoc and go to your MyNelayan. So this is the folder now, MyNelayan. So the second part here is MyNelayan. Sorry. Okay. And the last part, this is where we're going to put our PHP. So we store our PHPs all under PHP folder. So make sure that also you put it under PHP folder, PHP there. All right. So now we have our server directory turned on, but we don't have yet our PHP script to receive all the post array. So let's say that I'll give it a name here, register user.php. So this is the file, right? So this is the file, and then we need to work with the file here, inside here. So I'm going to create the file by using Notepad. Okay, so save as. This is your PHP file. So for PHP, you need to create PHP tag. Okay, just a quick PHP tag, and then save this into the directory /register user.php. Save. Okay, so now you got yourself a PHP file. Okay, so next, what you need now, I left out the database configuration. Okay, so the database configuration basically available through DB Connect here, this one. Okay, so you need a database connector first. We don't have yet the database connector. The database connector usually used for connecting our application with the database, PHP with the database. So you need another file called DB Connect, or you can create any names, but here I use a DB Connect. So you can just take this from page number 70. Okay, so this is DB Connect. I'm going to take this database connector. Okay, put it there. Database name is, make sure that you know your database name here. Your database name is MyNelayan DB. Okay, this is a MyNelayan DB. Right, so this is the database connector. So I'm going to give it a name db connect.php. Okay, this is a PHP file. Save. All right, so this database connector means that your database here, which is MyNelayan.db, will require this connector to be connected, and you need to fill in the following parameter. Okay, server name set to localhost, username set to root, password set to empty, database name set to the database name that you define. Down here, this is the connector. Okay, this is the connector that we're going to use that perform the connection with the database. Uh, Down here, this is the connection process, and here we use for the example that for throughout the book, I use MySQLi, which is one of the database method access that available in PHP. There are two. Actually, there are three. One is MySQL. The other one is the second one is MySQLi. The third one is PDO. Okay, the data object. MySQLi. You can use MySQLi, but MySQLi can only works with MySQL database. If you use PDO, it can work with any database that use SQL as their main language. Okay, so if you want to use PDO, PDO actually not much better, but it basically provide more options in terms of database. You can use Microsoft SQL. You can use any type of database that implement SQL type query. Okay, so but here I use MySQLi, so I'm going to stick with MySQLi. And you can test. You can actually test your database connection by just invoking the. You can use the IP address here, the one that I use. Where's my IP address? Okay, you can use your IP address slash MyNelayan slash php slash dbconnect.php. All right, so this is just to test if your database is working or not. Press the button here, you press enter. It didn't show anything, means that your database is working. Okay, so like if you want to really test that, just put else statement here and then echo just echo success. Okay, so if we do it one more time, so you let user know that okay, database connection is a success. So make sure that your database connector is working first, because you're going to use this file throughout your project. Okay, make sure that this file is working. If this file is not working, means that your database is not working. For example, like if I change the database name to a different name, like 3. So if I try to access that, it will complain an error there. Warning. Okay, unknown database DB3 in this MyNelayan 7 connection failed. So it means that you got this error, which is wrong database name. Okay, so remove that one more time. Just not going to have that later. We just want to make sure that our connection object here is working. So just to test that one more time. It shows nothing, means that the database is working. Okay. All right, so now we have this, we have register user.php, and then we can just write our script to make sure. You can close this forever now, no need to do anything about that. So now we need to work with the data. So we have our register user.php. Now, what it does here is that it will get this body data object and pass to the server here, to this server script here. And the task for this server-side script is that get the data. All right. So this is how do you get the data from post array. You can use, or you can check if the data is available or not. Okay, you can check that. Or if you want to pass an API key, also can. But here I'm going to stick with just a simple post array. So to get the value, we define like the first one is name equal. Want to get the first variable is name. So the variable basically post through post array, and the data that being passed inside is, check your code again. The data is name there, and then use name. Okay, and it goes the same with the rest. So email, which is variable name is email. The third one is phone. This one is phone data from array, and variable name is, you can give any names actually, just a variable name. And then you have password. Okay, this one is a password. We send password or password. Okay, we send a password, so we receive as a password. Right. So that basically allow us to retrieve all the data. How do we check that the server received the data? We can just echo back everything. Okay, you can echo, oh, sorry, echo $name, dollar, just plus $email, plus dollar, you just plus everything, right? Plus phone, plus $password. Okay, so this is just, you can just use data submitted, right? So echo means that it will return back to application. Okay, so application will receive back. This is the receive data. The data is being written back the server. So your application here will send this data to register user.php, and then the register user.php will receive the data through this variable, and then we don't provide any other additional operation as yet, just a simple echo back if the data is okay or not. Okay, we just simply echo back to the application, and through our application here, as you can see, we will receive by this response, and the response, what we did here is just print back the response from our server. So let's try that if we manage to pass all the data, and then the data are able to be retrieved back. So let me clear the debug here. So if I press register button here, okay, yes, you should be able to, especially echo back all the codes. Not supposed to do that. Register user.php, return back. What is it? Echo everything I put there. Got about that. Name, post array, echo, submitted. It's not, this is PHP file. Sorry, PHP. We requested, oh yeah, one more thing that I forgot about this is we need to enable this one thing. Because we submitted the data. Okay, we submitted the data as clear text. Okay, there's one thing that we need to add to the application. That's why I forgot about that. Okay, so let me just put it somewhere here. This one. We need to add this to our application. Okay, the one thing that I forgot about this is you need to add this to be able to work with them. Okay, to be able to work with them, you need to make sure that you add these features into your Android app source main manifest. Put it under where? Under launcher. Okay, put it under here. Okay, use clear traffic equal true. Okay, try to restart the application. Okay, and then access profile, registration, put a name. Sometimes happen. Okay. Okay. So let's try this. Register. Yes. Is it my PHP? Something to do with my PHP, is it? Sometimes when you copy paste code, something happened to the script. The script should be working by now. Let me just go back to the registration. Check again. This is the script that handle registration. What EULA? Hold on. Here. Okay, same. We haven't yet done that. This one just is set. So we have our PHP block up here, close the PHP, get the value set. This is a post, yeah, post array, get the value, everything. We get the value name, post name, email, phone. Okay, get the value, and then this one, all the SQL that works with that. And then I just want to echo back, but it didn't seem to properly echo what I wanted. What is it? Data submitted. Just use data submitted. This one's register user.php, and this is a PHP file. It's not supposed to return back all the content. That can be very dangerous for the application to work. We just do that. Okay, so register. You can see that it basically register the file itself, not the. We don't want this. Okay, this one basically very, very dangerous. We have HTTP 10. Just go back here. What does this return? You can just test this. Yeah, it does work in terms of PHP because you don't see much. If I re-enable back the echo, hold on. Even there's something that's not right. Echo, okay. Okay, because this is post array, so that's why we don't have that. It's something that I cannot see my one post array. Just want to test my PHP. Is my PHP is working? Just should be echo okay. There's something wrong with my should print out okay here, but it didn't. So register user.php, MyNelayan. Am I doing something wrong here? Or I copied the wrong code? So let me just take this one. Okay, send JSON response. There's one function down here. You just want to check what happened to my PHP. Why it's not working here? It's supposed to be working. Okay, didn't send any post array. It will send out JSON response. It will send out JSON shows that it is not shows fail. It's supposed to do that. Yeah, it's not working actually. It's not working. Am I missing somewhere? This is not HTTP. Oh yeah, I think because this is the latest Chrome, and it says that it is not secure. Okay, how do I enable? So not secure. Let me know that it's not secure so that it won't proceed. We try to use a different browser. This one also the same. Allow. This one block. Allow for now. It won't allow. Okay, this is something to look into. If I put a local host, should be working. Does not accepted any request. I use DB Connect. Okay, it didn't return anything. Okay, so I think that's basically conclude for this class. So basically, I stop here. Register user. We do have some issue with the register user. That's basically due to the Android manifest. You need to make sure to enable this. Whenever you use XAMPP, make sure that you enable this. Stop the application and do the reinstallation again. And then you can work with your local host. Okay, so those basically just issue with HTTP. HTTP and HTTPS. In the real implementation, we use HTTPS through your local, through your web hosting. But through your local host, you cannot have HTTPS enabled. So you need to do something with the security, and then enable the security. Use clear traffic text equal true. Okay, so that you can have your PHP to respond to your request from here, from this HTTP request. So next class later, I'm going after this, I'm going to talk about how to properly pass all the data, get all the data, process the data into database, create the data into database, create the table, and then successfully insert data into database. So that's basically the topic I'm going to talk in your next class. And I hope you get the idea for basic user registration.